Once in a quiet mountain village, there lived a humble carpenter named Jacob with his wife Eleanor and their little daughter Lila. Their cottage was small and old, its walls patched with wood and clay, but it was filled with laughter and warmth. Jacob worked from sunrise to sunset, crafting tables, chairs, and tiny wooden toys for the children in town. He never asked for much, only enough to buy bread, pay rent, and keep a candle burning at night. Every evening after supper, Jacob would sit by the window with Lila on his lap. He'd show her the stars and say softly, "My little one, when life feels dark, remember, faith is the light that never fades." Elena would smile, listening from the doorway, her hands busy sewing by lamplight. Their life was simple, but it was beautiful. One winter, the village was struck by a terrible storm. Snow buried the roads, work stopped, and Jacob's small shop grew cold and empty. The landlord came one morning, knocking hard on the door. "You haven't paid rent in 2 months," he said. "If you can't pay by next week, you'll have to leave." Jacob's heart sank. He had only a few coins left, and a sick wife to care for. Elena had grown pale and weak, coughing through the cold nights. That evening, Jacob knelt beside her bed. "Don't worry," he whispered. "God won't forget us." But when he stepped outside, snow falling softly on his shoulders, his faith trembled. "Why, Lord?" he prayed. "Why do you test me so hard when I have so little?" As he turned back toward the house, he saw Lila standing in the doorway, holding the small wooden star he'd carved for her. "Papa," she said, "you told me faith never fades, even in the dark." Tears filled Jacob's eyes. He hugged her close and whispered, "You're right, my star. I won't forget." The next morning, Jacob decided to walk to the nearby town in search of work. He kissed Elena and Lila goodbye, wrapped himself in an old coat, and started his journey through the snow with a heavy heart and empty pockets. Hours passed, and as the sun began to sink behind the hills, Jacob came upon a broken bridge at the edge of a frozen river. There, sitting helplessly beside a damaged wagon, was an old man wrapped in a torn cloak. "Good sir," the old man called weakly, "my wheel is broken, and I can't go on." Jacob looked at his hands, cold, cracked, and trembling, and then at the man's tired eyes. Without hesitation, he took out his tools. Even though he was starving and exhausted, Jacob knelt in the snow and fixed the wheel until it turned again. When he finished, the old man stood and said, "You helped me without asking for anything. Others passed by, but only you stopped." He handed Jacob a small wooden box. "Take this. It may not look like much, but it holds what your heart needs most." Before Jacob could speak, the old man walked away, disappearing into the falling snow. When Jacob returned home that night, he was shivering, tired, and empty-handed, except for the box. Eleanor lay weak in bed, and Lila sat quietly beside her. Jacob opened the box. Inside was a single golden coin and a note that read, "Faith mends what the world breaks." He used the coin to buy medicine and bread the next day. Weeks passed and Elena began to heal. But something even more mysterious happened. Every time Jacob opened the box after a prayer, another coin appeared. He used the coins to fix his workshop, help neighbors rebuild after the storm, and feed hungry children in the village. No one knew where the blessings came from, only Jacob, who never stopped thanking God for his mercy. Years later, when Jacob grew old and grey, people still spoke about the carpenter who never lost his faith. They said that when he died, the small wooden box was found empty, but his house overflowed with kindness, laughter, and hope. And above his door, carved into the wood, were the words he'd always lived by. "When life turns dark, keep your faith. The light will find you morale. True miracles are born from faith. not fortune. When you give from your heart, heaven gives back in ways unseen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.